men will literally run away from the city, leave their family behind, go way up into the mountains, fall in love with a geisha, only to have an existential crisis when they could just deal with their emotions, or at the very least, go to therapy. I mean, of course, I'm being facetious, but come on. Hi, and welcome to Reading for Idiots, a channel that should really be called Reading by an Idiot. I do no spoiler reviews and other bookish content, plus I read public domain books and do a monthly reading vlog thing. So if you like that sort of stuff, subscribe and indiscriminately click like on all of my videos, share them in your group family WhatsApp chat, and drop them into your work Slack channel. What else? I want you to go batshit in the comments. I want to see some unhinged behavior in this tame world of BookTube. But anyway, I feel like I have read a disproportionate amount of Japanese books, and I don't know why that surprises me because I'm half Japanese, but I'm starting to feel like maybe I'm saying the same things over and over again. They're beautiful. The writing is so simple and poetic. The Japanese have... I'm losing it. The Japanese have a very Japanese way of writing. Oh man, the translator sure did a good job. Man, I'll put a link to all of my videos on Japanese books down below just so you can see for yourself how much I repeat myself. So today's book, Snow Country by Kawabata Yasunari, is the ultimate nothing happens, but everything happens kind of book. And I'm sure I've said that before, and if I read another Japanese book, I'm sure as hell going to say it again. What I probably won't say again, though, is that Snow Country by Kawabata Yasunari is like a haiku that kind of sucker punches you in the soul. And there's this one passage, nay, it's one line, and watch to the very end because I'll get to it, that just completely broke my heart. It is the kind of line that very neatly sums up the book, and it sums up what the book is about. I happen to think the book is about Japanese identity, and also it sums up the yet bigger thing of that thing in its historical context against the raging snowstorm of history. So yeah, the universe in a nutshell, basically. 2,000 years of Japanese history in one line. This is my no spoiler review of Kawabata Yasunari's Snow Country.
Like, share.
Kawabata Yasunari, or as you white people like to call him, Yasuneirai Keiwei Beite, or something like that, was born to a wealthy family in Osaka in 1899 and died in 1972 in the time-honored Japanese tradition of He checked himself out early. He hit the emergency exit button. Look, I don't want to be flippant about it. He speed ran life on hard mode. But Mishima Yukio, Dazai Osamu, Akutagawa Ryunosuke, they all did the solo Romeo and Juliet. Okay, so Kawabata was the first Japanese writer to win the Nobel Prize in Literature in 1968, and he won it for his narrative mastery and his sensibility that expresses the essence of the Japanese mind. His work is generally known for its haunting beauty, the emotional restraint it has, the emotional constipation that just wants to burst. And he writes on deeply melancholic themes like how love is fleeting or unrequited, how time just sort of passes us by, and like loneliness as well. Look, I do know I have a tendency to go on a bit in these authors' bio section, but it's only because I find it super interesting And it really does shed light on the sort of work the author creates. You know what I mean? So I've been trying to keep it humorous, albeit about yeeting yourself out of existence. So I've been trying to keep it humorous and brief. I just want to mention a few things very quickly. Kawabata was born into a wealthy Osaka family, but at the age of 4, he was orphaned and he lived with his grandparents while his sister lived with his aunt. He only met his sister once, and that was in 1909 when he was 10 years old, and she died a year after that. His grandparents died in 1914, so 5 years later, when he was 15 years old, and then he went to go live with his aunt, but that only lasted a year. And at the age of 16, he was sent to go live in a boarding school. And then, at the age of 20, he was engaged to marry an Ito Hatsuyo, but she broke off the marriage without giving him much of an explanation. And we all know what it's like to be in love at the age of 20, right? Very ouch. Anyway, his other famous works include The Dancing Girl of Izu, Izu no Doriko, published as a short story in 1926. Thousand Cranes, Senbazuru, serialized between 1949 and 1951, and then published as a novel in 1952. And Yama no Oto, The Sound of the Mountain, serialized between 1949 and 1954, then published later on that year in 1954. Okay, so the plot, if we can even call it that. Our protagonist is Shimamura. I'm not sure if he's a rich man. He just doesn't have to work. He's a man of leisure. He is of indeterminate age, but definitely older, and he is a man of leisurely pursuits. And every once in a while, Shimamura likes to leave Tokyo. He likes to leave his family behind. And this is not such a weird thing in Japan, especially at the time. I don't even think it's that weird a thing now. But he likes to leave them behind and go up into the mountains just to breathe the mountain air. And he goes to an onsen town, a hot spring town. And this is where he meets Komako. And Komako is a geisha who literally is one of the last of her kind, and metaphorically, this is my reading, metaphorically, is a representation of a dying art from a fading culture that is so deeply linked to the Japanese identity and all of the traditions that sort of go with that. She is everything Japan was. Unlike Shimamura, Komako is young. She's energetic, she's passionate, she's kind of funny. And to be honest, I found her a little bit exasperating, like in the way I find my 6-year-old nephew exasperating after I've spent the whole afternoon with him. So what does Shimamura do? Does he fall in love with Komako? Does he even match her emotional energy? Nope. He spends the whole novel being emotionally unavailable. And this isn't a spoiler, by the way, because if you've read any Murakami, you would know that this is typical male Japanese character behavior. We are a race of emotionally constipated men. And Shimamura romanticizes her, maybe, romanticizes what Komako represents, doesn't even really see her as a human. He just wants her to be pure and distant and tragic, if you know what I mean. It's like he deals with her as though she's some kind of concept for his own intellectual amusement, like she's some kind of snow globe that he shakes whenever he's bored. But look, having said all of that, this book is beautiful. Each sentence feels like it's been stripped to its bare bones, and every word feels naked and vulnerable, and it reads like it's being whispered to you. The snow, the silence, the isolation. It is the sort of book that will make you want to sit in silence for a bit after you read it. It's very atmospheric. It's very much a snapshot of a moment in time, like a candid Polaroid or something. And although it's just a book about a guy who meets a girl in some location, I have to say, there is a mystery at the heart of it. Not that it's a mystery book, but there is a mystery, an intrigue, and it's well plotted and it's very clever. And it's not like one of those atmospheric books that's actually a slog to read and you're only reading it because you're telling yourself the prose is beautiful, but really you're kind of pulling your own leg there, right? This book is a well-structured narrative too. It's also just a wee book. Like, look at it. This is the beautiful Penguin Classics cloth-bound edition. There's no reason not to read it. It's less than 150 pages. Anyway, wow, turn to it straight away. This is the passage I was promising, the one that sucker punched me in the soul. Komako slid the door half shut behind him. She glanced up at the sky. It's beginning to look like snow, the end of the maple leaves. She recited a line of poetry as she stepped outside. Here in the mountains, the snow falls even on the maple leaves. Look, I get that probably made no sense unless you've read the 130 or so pages that came before it, but hey, it's the end of the video, so what are you going to do about it? I guess, thank you for watching to the end. Click all the buttons and shit below the video, share it with your family, work Slack channel, all that. Also, tune in to one of my monthly reading vlogs. It's kinda lonely, just me there on my own. I guess I should schedule it or something so you guys know when I'm gonna be doing it. But yeah, otherwise, let's not make this awkward. I'll see you all again soon. I promise I won't shimamura you. That's a reference you won't get unless you read the book. If you have, let me know down below.
Like, share,